Greetings, magical mages and spiritual sages. Welcome to Age of the Mage podcast, and this is episode 74. We're going to talk just a little bit today about Taurus energy. We are currently in the month of May, but Taurus energy is something that we can all tap into, particularly at these times when Taurus is in um, kind of positions of astrological power and heightened energy, like, of course, during the month of May, starting usually from about April 21st, 22nd, and running through until May 21st, 22nd. Taurus, the bull, is an earth sign, and each of these signs usually they fall into categories of either cardinal, mutable, or fixed. And mutable means that it's a little more changeable energy, a little more in tune with spontaneity. Cardinals tend to be leaders, and they like to take the lead and make their own decisions and things, even lead others. And then the fixed signs are the ones that we sometimes might call stubborn, but it's deeper than that. It's more they like structure, they like planning. They are not really keen on quick changes or a lot of, and they may not be known for their malleability. They may not all be stubborn, but they kind of set into their ways and then prefer those procedures to be followed if they're most comfortable when they are following ways they're used to and routines and things. So Taurus is a fixed sign, and it's also an earth sign. The signs fall into those categories as well. They're either an earth, air, fire, or water sign. And so when you have this combination of fixed earth, you can just imagine that mountain. That mountain's not moving for anyone. If you want to get to that mountain, you have to go there. You're the one in motion. So we often see this in Taurus energy, that they love their homes, they love the nests that they create, they feel safe and secure, comfortable in their environments. And very often, if you have Taurus friends, you will be visiting them in their space. They're very generous typically, and with their friends, and they're the types that will hold the backyard barbecues and will have the swimming parties or the fireside chats at their home. They're very sensual people. They love the five senses and what they can taste, what they can touch. They love their environments to be comfortable and beautiful. I would say not always as beautiful in the same sense as a sign like Libra might stress, but I think the Taurus energy is more on comfort and welcoming and having this home environment be aesthetically pleasing, at least to the point that it is inviting and it's welcoming. But I would say the comfort factor is even, above the beauty factor. And they love laughing, and they very often are good with singing. Taurus rules the throat. They will very often have a hearty laugh and a ribald sense of humor. And this Taurus energy is one that you can really fall in love with. I find with the fixed signs, particularly the Taurus is the fixed in earth, the Scorpio is the fixed in water, Aquarius is the fixed in air, and Leo is the fixed in fire. And I find with the fixed signs, it is best to get to know them if you are trying, for example, if you're trying for a relationship of sorts. It's best to get to know them and see if you align with most of their ideas. Obviously, no two people are ever going to agree on everything, but when you have one of these fixed people, and if their chart also has a lot of fixed energy to go with this sun sign, you're more compatible if you align with them from the very beginning. There probably won't be a lot of deep changes going on with the Taurus. They have formed their beliefs usually. Their opinions are strong. And if you are constantly butting up against very different worldviews with one of these fixed individuals, that can just make for, constant bickering or something. So again, it's important to find alignment with whoever you're teaming up with, whether it be a business partner, a love partner, a friendship. Obviously, we gravitate towards alignment naturally. But especially in the case of finding a romantic partner, you will want to make sure that, you could have 10 Tauruses in a room and they could all be very, very different. And you would be needing to look for that Taurus that aligns with your ideas the most, because there, again, just keep in mind that there will not be a lot of change on the part of the Taurus. Now, the good thing about that I have always enjoyed with my Taurian friends, is that they're so loyal. If they do decide to accept you into their world as a friend or as a love or romantic partner, they're stayers. They stick with you, and their love is deep and enduring. And of course, all of these are generalizations, because as we know with astrology, there's a lot more going on in the chart besides a sun sign. So other influences could change any of these general factors. But we do find that many of these hold true, and I do really respect and revere the depth that Taurus can love somebody, and or commit to a project, and the staying power, and this really beautiful loyalty that comes with the Taurus. And also, being an earth sign, they're very logical typically. They process mentally first and then let things drop down into their gut for gut reactions. It can happen in a split second. So you could have a Taurus that you feel is very emotional, but usually what's going on is that earth and air people have this in common. They tend to kind of initially process ideas in the mental sphere and then let that flow out from their analysis areas into their feeling areas, into their emotions. And so again, you would get along nicely with a Taurus if you kind of share that approach too, because then the two of you have this similar way of processing things the world has to throw at you. I do find, interestingly enough, and this is where the law of opposites shows up, very often the earth and air signs are drawn to fire and water people, because they are so different, and you get such emotion and such passion apparent in the fire and water people, and the earth and air just, yeah, that helps them, show emotion and become more emotional. And when the earth and air is also around the fire water people, the fire and water people get the advantage of that practicality and that appeal to logic and rationality that can also help balance them. It's not always easy to be around our opposites. We can sometimes get frustrated, but it can be good for us if other energies support the exchanges. So that's kind of this very brief and general overview of Taurus. But there's another way to think about Taurus, as we do with all our energy and all our signs, and that is how to um, merge our magical and spiritual practice with when the energies come around in the zodiac. And during Taurus, because it is such a steady and reliable earth sign, because it does bring to mind that strength of the bull or the mountain, it's very helpful to start projects during that time, during the energetic effects that Taurus brings, because very often that will bring a steadiness to the project that you launch and a lasting quality to it. And so you might want to take a look at things that you'd like to start and kind of factor this in with the Taurus energy and say, hey, does this kind of fit with what I'm trying to do? Would grounding this during the energetics of Taurus help this take root, so to speak, help this become a project that grows and can stay and last long term, these kind of benefits that the Taurus brings. The other thing is, you can watch for when the moon goes into Taurus, which happens, very often. because the moon cycle is so much shorter than the monthly cycle of the months moving through the signs. And so you get a lot of opportunities to take advantage of Taurus energy in with your magical work in mind. You can also use the energies of Earth with any of your visualizations or your manifestation magic, and just kind of experiment. You can find spells and craft work online, but to keep in mind that if you bring the element of earth, which sometimes is represented by salt or of course by soil, and if you bring these energies into your practice, you can harness the natural feelings of earthiness, groundedness, and these growing, lasting qualities into what you're trying to manifest. So these are just some thoughts about how to recognize the benefits and the energy of Taurus, and I wish you all a very wonderful, happy month of May, and I will return shortly and say goodbye for now.